there you
Oh,
go.
it looks like here we
Now I
go.
see it says recording. So
Yeah, yeah. So, what got you into, you're in immigration law, right?
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So I originally immigrated, as you can tell from the accent, very southern. I'm from South Africa. I moved here almost, don't want to date myself, but almost 30 years ago. And so I went through the immigration practice. I practiced law in South Africa, but I was a trial attorney there. I actually just did my associate, like it's a clerkship, and then I graduated, got admitted to the Supreme Court, and came to America. And then I had to go through the whole immigration process. So hopefully I know the law and I'm a good lawyer, but I also know what it's like to go through it from a personal level,
Yeah.
personal
How was
experience.
how was that for you?
Not for the faint-hearted, definitely, but I learned a lot along the way. And I was working at a law firm here, and they basically didn't have an immigration practice. They were an international law firm, and I kept saying we need immigration, and they were, that's like the red-headed stepchild. It's not going to bring in the millions of dollars that litigation brings in, and they were reluctant. And then eventually, I kind of persuaded them. They said, as long as you keep up your billable hours in litigation, you can do this immigration thing, because people in my community and started asking me questions. I started learning about it, and eventually it was taking up a lot of my time. And I persuaded them that I want to do this full time there, and it worked out well. And I headed the Dallas office of this firm for a long time, and then I moved over to a regional firm. And then, as I said, in 2017, we started the small immigration boutique that we have that's growing.
Yeah, yeah. Um, how was it? What what made you decide to branch off on your own?
Immigration at a big firm, as I said, it's kind of fitting a round peg in a square hole. So I was a partner there, and I'm looking at where all this money's going for marketing and things like that. And it didn't apply to me, although it was fun and nice to have a suite at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. Really didn't it cost a lot of money, and it really didn't benefit much my clients who are all over the world. Some are not even in the United States yet. And so, also, immigration, generally speaking, is flat rate fees. It's not by the hour. So, that doesn't really fit with Big Law's model, although it's changing in Big Law too, as well. It doesn't really fit with the model, with that model. Bring in 20, build 2,100 hours is great, but if you can't collect it, it's irrelevant. So I just thought that my marketing expenses will be better served towards methods that are good for me: Google, pay-per-click, SEO, international functions, things like that, which are not typical things that a big law firm would advertise at.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Did it take you a while to kind of make that decision to?
Yeah, wish I'd done it earlier. Although I had a great time at these firms, but I was scared, to go out on my own. It's nice getting a guaranteed paycheck every month, and um, I love being on my own, and it's been really nice. But as I'm sure you're wearing 10 million different hats. When I was in big law, I called them the magic fairies, used to bring my bills to my desk. I'd correct them, the magic fairies would take them away, and I never heard back, didn't have to worry about collections or anything like that. And so that was very nice. Now,
Yeah,
I have to do all that myself and kind of be in marketing. And my husband, who keeps reminding me he has a real job, he helps with marketing as well, and finances and things like that. But generally, I'm jack of all trades, master of none.
yeah, we moved from California to Florida in 2019, and my wife, she was working for in-house counsel for a healthcare provider there, and yeah, she was getting paid well. I was also I was in real estate. I was getting paid well. We were doing all right. But it was still very expensive for where we lived. But yeah, it was a little bit nerve-wracking making the leap, coming here, not really knowing anybody, and starting up a firm. It was like, all right, let's do it.
That's why I say not for the faint-hearted, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Every day's an adventure.
It is. It is. What's your husband do? What's his
He's
regular
in
job?
he's in managed services for information technology. So he's my IT department as well.
That's good. That's good. I'm basically the IT department here.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. There's some stuff that we've had to implement that's way above my pay grade. So we hired. I got this one guy who his name's Mike. He works on we use Zoho as our CRM and our
Okay.
project, all that stuff. And yeah, that was just way more in depth than I mean, I probably could have figured it out, but it would take a long time and I'd
Yeah,
probably
I have an
screw.
outside service that I go to when all things fail. I have one paralegal who's very, very tech savvy, so he can normally figure everything out. But when all else fails, we have this IT service. I think they're based out of the Philippines or somewhere, and they're on call 24/7 and can help us. But luckily, there hasn't been too many of those emergencies because that's definitely above my pay grade.
How are you? How are you technologically?
I'm okay. Definitely room for improvement. Definitely not, I would not describe myself as technologically savvy. So this has been interesting because before I could always just pick up the phone to the IT department and go, you can't expect me to work if I don't have the proper tools. Come and fix it now. Now there's nobody else to do that. So that's a big adjustment, definitely.
Yeah, Ashley is like, I think my deceased grandmother is a little bit better tech savvy than she is. Um,
I'm
she's
learning. I'm learning. I mean, my CRM is also a work in progress, and I'm learning that. It's definitely, we use Lawmatics, and it's definitely for somebody who has got a degree in software. I keep telling them there's no way that every lawyer understands this except me. So I'm learning it.
yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, so you wanted to talk a little bit about like marketing or intake or stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
So intakes, I have a coach, and in that coaching group is a sales coach, and he keeps saying that our intake is awful. I think it's great, actually. And he says that we're losing a lot of money and a lot of calls because fortune's in the follow-up. Our follow-up isn't that good. Um, and generally I have one person who is my receptionist slash intake specialist, and I think it's working fine, but I was very curious to know why I need to have a receptionist. I feel like it could be duplicative of both, you know, everybody, which is a good and bad problem, wants to talk to me directly. They don't really want to talk to anybody else. And my receptionist slash intake person, I think, does a good job of scheduling calls and getting me the consults that I need, and then I close the matters most of the time. Sometimes they don't want to speak to me and they're ready to close, but that's few and far between. And I'm just thinking, how logistically will this work? You have a receptionist, they answer the phone, they're going to go Pollak Immigration, let me put you through to the intake specialist. Isn't that kind of, why can't the intake specialist just answer the phone and go, hi, this is Pollak Immigration? Why do I need a second person before they
Yeah,
even get to me? Normally, I mean, sometimes people are irate that they can't have a meeting right away that minute. They're calling in at 10 o'clock and they're like, well, I want to talk to her now. That's not going to happen. Sometimes, which is a good problem to have, but I'm on calls all day.
yep, yep. I'm just looking up something right now. Uh,
So walk me through how it works in your firm.
I will. I'm gonna pulling up our calls, number of calls in that we get. So They haven't been entered in for last week, but week ending December 15th, we had 900 calls that came in
For how long? In what period of time?
from December 9th to the 15th.
Wow, that's a lot of calls.
That's a lot of calls.
Yeah, so you
Yeah,
definitely need a receptionist. I don't
right,
know.
right. And if I look back, September of, one of the weeks in September of 2022, we had 150 calls come in,
Wow, that's
right?
that's a lot. Yeah.
So 150 right now, we're at, between 850 and 900 averaging. So it's a pretty big leap within.
So it's at least my math isn't good, but it's at least 100 calls a day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so when we first started, it was just Ashley. It was just Ashley, right? And I was working a sales job, which was fantastic. That's where I really learned sales. Was this job? It was with Postcard Mania. They do our postcards now, but um, and she started getting busier and busier, and she was answering the phones, she was doing the sales, she was doing everything, right?
Mhm.
I would come home on lunch breaks and in the evening, and I would work on the website and social media posts and that type of thing. um, and then as she got busier, she was billing by the hour at that time, and I kind of noticed that I'd be like, why'd you only bill this much in this week? Like, what the hell are you doing? And so it got to a point where once we broke down all the tasks that she was responsible for, I was like, okay, if I come over and do that, then I'll raise your billables up by, I forget what we figured it was going to be, like maybe like 3,500, 4,000 a week we could
Mhm.
increase, or just by me working there. So that's when I decided to leave. And so really the first thing I did was take the phone line over, and I was the one answering the calls, doing the intakes, scheduling, uh, and doing follow-ups after the consult if they didn't, if they didn't buy or engage us. So I was doing that all myself, and then we hired an assistant, like an administrative assistant, and I trained her to do the same thing. And coincidentally, right at that time, we got even busier. So then both of us were doing that same job, of answering the phone, answering the phones, follow up, all that stuff. Uh, and as time has gone on, we've just continuously put people there. So right now we have a receptionist and 3 intake people. Now the receptionist obviously fields a lot of calls, right? But she's
Mhm.
also uh, double hatted, and she's a legal assistant for our estate planning department.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's doing a lot of those administrative tasks. And with the size that you're at, do you know how many calls in you're getting in a week?
I'd say not more than 20 a day.
Okay. So do you need a dedicated receptionist? Probably not.
Yeah, so I mean, that's what I'm thinking, that I think we're doing okay right now, unless he doesn't have time. If the phone rings and he's doing intake, he's got to stop intake, I suppose.
Oh, that can't happen.
Right.
Um, so we have the way our phone system works, is if the receptionist can't answer it, the phone rings. So it rings to the receptionist for like 10, 15 seconds, something like that. If she doesn't pick up, then it rings to her again, but also the phones also include all 3 of the intake girls.
Okay.
Um, If no one picks it up after another 10 seconds, then it rings to the receptionist, all 3 intake girls, and then like 5 other employees, 5 other like legal assistants. And so it's like when it gets to that point, it's like red alert, somebody. So you 100% never want the phone going to voicemail during business hours.
Right.
Yeah, super bad business practice. Me personally, if I call a small business during business hours and they don't answer the phone, it's a red flag to me, and I'm just like, I'm finding somebody else.
Right. Sure.
That's for me. I don't know if everyone's like that. Our phone occasionally goes to voicemail, and I'll tell you what, it is like nails on it. It is like the word. When I see the voicemail come through into my email, I like want to scream.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I can understand that. So, but I'm just thinking logistically how this will work is do they strictly answer the phone, Pollak Immigration, and move them then to the intake person? Because then it's an additional step for the.
Yeah. Are you talking about how our system? Are you asking how our system works?
Yeah.
Okay. So if the receptionist answers the phone, she gets their basic information, name, phone number, and email, and what service they need. And she is inputting that into the CRM. So getting those 3 things are what she does, and then she transfers it to intake, to someone intake.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, a lot of the calls are for, an attorney, or they need to speak with their paralegal, and so then she just looks them up in the system, yeah, and just transfers it over. So, yeah, that's how. But when someone from intake answers the phone, they're doing that same exact thing, but then they're just continuing on with the intake process.
Okay. So the receptionist, sorry, I'm just taking some notes. So the receptionist doesn't actually do the intake process at all.
Not our receptionist, no. But before, in the past, before we had a dedicated receptionist, they did. Yeah. Our very first receptionist, her name's Abby. She's one of our paralegals now. She was hired to be a receptionist, and she did intakes. So as a receptionist, she was doing intakes. But if she was on an intake, then the phone at that time would ring to myself and another employee, and so one of us would answer the phone, do whatever new intake there was. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying to visualize it. So in my firm, it would be they would answer it, take the name, phone number, email, enter it in Lawmatics, and immediately transfer the call over.
If you were to have a dedicated receptionist, that's what I would suggest.
Or if I was also looking at some firms like this, back office Betty's and people, I mean, that's probably the way to go if I don't need a dedicated receptionist right away.
Right.
Just do minutes or whatever. You get plans by the minute or something. And
exactly. Yeah.
Nominal amount before I hire, because I don't think that I have work for a full-time receptionist unless they're doing some admin work in my firm, but I've got that covered right now.
Yeah. Are all your administrative staff, are they legal assistants, or you said what did you say they were?
Okay. Paralegals.
Are they pretty swamped with work?
Yeah, for the most part they are. My intake specialist also does admin work as well, but for the most part they are pretty swamped.
Sorry, I didn't put my phone on do not disturb. There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think one of those services would be good for you, for sure.
Yeah, just to start off with, and you go from there. And then if they get really busy and whatever, a lot of my clients also come to me by email, and I respond, or my intake specialist responds, and with a link, which is through Lawmatics, where they can automatically schedule their own calls, so they don't even need to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
The
That's
problem,
good.
but
Go
I
ahead.
don't have that follow-up if they don't schedule a call.
So are those current clients or new prospects?
Primarily new prospects.
Okay. So
I get a lot of
how,
email. I get a lot of, because a lot of it's international, a lot of people contact me not by phone, but by email.
yeah, yeah.
So I don't think that our follow-up system is good in following up with every lead.
Yeah. So, okay. So a lead comes through email and it goes right to you.
Yeah.
Okay. I
It
would
goes
get
to a
off.
few people, but I'm one of them.
Oh, okay. So it goes to multiple people.
Yeah,
Okay. That's good. Um, so then you give them a link to your calendar. Is that right?
correct.
Okay.
And they pay for, I do paid consults. I don't do free consults. Do you do
Yeah,
free consults or paid
we
consults?
do. Yeah, we do free consults. Um, we view it. We have a pretty thorough screening process with our intakes. We're actually tightening up even more. We're working on that right now. Um, but our viewpoint is that if the person is qualified for our services, right, like it's a legal service that they actually need and financially they can afford it, right, then we book them for a consult. And at that point, if they don't get sold on the service, it's on the consultant for not closing the sale.
So they get scheduled with what kind of consultant for the call?
Uh, well, we have non-attorney salespeople and we have attorneys as well who do consults. Yeah,
So I
so
don't know if
both.
it's my industry, but I can't see how this non-sales attorney works.
Yeah,
Um, because first of all, everyone wants to talk to me. They don't want to talk to another lawyer. They don't want to talk to a paralegal. They want to talk to me. First of all, that's
how
the
do you
way
know that?
they specifically say we want to talk to Karen. We've heard
Okay,
about Karen, so they want to
yeah,
talk to me.
got it.
And a lot of times with paid consults, I can understand free consults with a non-attorney. But with paid consults, I'll be, why do I need to pay somebody who's not even a lawyer for a consult?
Yeah, yeah. I can see your viewpoint there. We've actually never charged. We charge for business consults. Our business attorney does those, and those are
Mhm.
always paid because we found that those they tend to just be seeking, like, sometimes just seeking legal advice, right? And it really
Right.
doesn't turn
I
into
get I
any.
get a lot of those too. And that's
Yeah,
why I charge now to kind of, because a lot of times people call and are they do it yourself kind of people and just want
yeah,
to, you know,
yeah.
you give
I'm
me the
not.
address for immigration. I'm like, or what's their phone number? Or I'm about to file form, blah, blah, blah. And I want to know what to put in box X.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, so just to be clear, I am not opposed to paid consults by any
Okay.
stretch, right?
Right.
We do, yeah, I think with namely probate, Medicaid, and estate planning, we if we vet them enough, they're not really going to do it on their own, right? It's not really like just like getting free advice from us and then going and right, like no one's going to write a trust on their own, right? No
Right.
matter how much we talk to them about it. Same thing with probate. They actually need an attorney
Uh-huh.
for probate, right? Um, yeah. So for us, we haven't heard, and now Ashley's very big on social media. She's got a decent amount of followers. All of our email marketing is with her. Um, but we don't really hear people saying, I have to have a consult with Ashley. It's more, what happens generally is they call up and they say they need a consult for whatever service, and then the intake team goes through the whole questionnaire with them, and it's like, okay, here's the dates that we have available. We're usually looking for the first available for them, and then it's like, okay, you're going to have a consult with Stephanie, and it's usually just like, okay. We don't. It's very, very rare for us to hear we want the consult with Ashley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Huh?
You're lucky. That's good.
Maybe. Maybe. I think it just turned it at some point it just evolved into just kind of controlling it and saying this is who your consult is going to be with.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right. Right.
And never even asking them who they want the consult with.
And are those people non-attorneys who
Yeah.
the consult is with?
Yeah. Yeah. Now we have very systematic ways of doing the consult without giving legal advice, and yeah, it's more kind of like informational. Probate's obviously very simple. It's like, okay, we figure out what the assets are, and when the person passed away, okay, you need a formal probate, and this is what we charge for a formal, right?
Right.
It's usually pretty simple. Same thing with Medicaid, right? It's like gathering information on the assets and um, where they're at and what kind of facility they need and all that. And it's like, okay, yeah, these are the documents and this is what the document is. So it's not, yeah, we're very clear that they are not attorneys doing the consultation, and they're not giving legal advice. Anytime anything does kind of get into legal advice is like, okay, this is what Ashley recommends, right? We have her recommendations there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But for
How
us, we
many
noticed
attorneys do you have?
we have 2 in-house and three or 4 of counsel who
Okay.
do a lot of work for us. Yeah, a lot of work. They're doing the work under our firm,
Okay.
but as of counsel, yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And they do the work. They don't do the intakes or anything like that.
Correct. Yeah, they're not answering any phones. Yeah.
Right. Okay. But do they do client consults?
One of them does.
Okay.
Yeah, just one of them.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense. So if you got contract attorneys or of counsel, that they be billing work
Yeah.
rather than potential work.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And the consults that she does, our business law attorney, we charge for those.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about your follow-up systems.
Yeah. So our follow-up system is very aggressive.
Okay.
Very aggressive. People ask me this all the time, what it is, and I'd have to like go into the file to find it. Let me see if I can pull it up exactly what it is. But yeah, when somebody where the heck is it? I think this is it. Here, I'll share it. Why don't I do that? You can see it on the screen. All right. So,
Okay. Right. I see that.
yeah. Okay, so when a quote is given and they don't pay, we call 1 day after,
Mm-hmm.
call 2 days after, call 5 days after, text them 7 days after, resend the quote 7 days after, call again 10 days after, text 13 days after, resend quote 13 days after, call 15, 21, 25, 28, resend the quote again, and then we call monthly after that.
Okay. Yeah, I send out, or I don't know how it works, but through Lawmatics, automatic emails that go out. I don't think as often, but we also do quite an aggressive email thing, but we don't follow. So I think that's maybe where this coach is talking about your intake person needs to be following up with calls and things like that. So they're
Yeah.
not going to have, if they're doing a proper follow up, they're not going to have time to be also answering phones as well.
Yeah. Is the coach talking about after they've already been given a quote?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And so
Well, I think
you're,
both actually, but primarily after a quote's been given or a contract's been sent out.
yeah. Yeah. When we have someone who, when a lead comes in, like an email lead, we have a follow-up system for them too.
Right.
And that is, we're contacting them, call, text, email every single day until they book the consult, excuse me, or they decide that they're not going to have a consult, or we disqualify them. So it's going to be one way or the other. And so that's pretty aggressive too. But we kind of look, we look at it like, hey, they reached out to us. We need to make, we need to get them on a consult, or say they're not going to get our services, right? They're not going to have a consult. So
Right.
reaching out to them aggressively like that every day, yeah, we just need them to make a decision, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Okay. Will you email that sheet to me?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So so I think that's why he's probably thinking there's so much follow up to do that's not properly being done that we losing clients on that end, and rather just have a receptionist who answers the phone, especially if it is existing clients, they can just put them straight through to whoever's dealing with their case. And
Yeah, it'll definitely be more efficient. And do you know what do you call them? Do you call them an intake specialist, or what do you?
yeah, intake
Okay,
specialist.
okay. Do you know how many calls out your intake specialist makes in a week?
We're not following up properly now. That's why I need a whole system. But yeah, I would imagine that there would be at least 60 calls.
In a week?
Yeah.
Okay. Our three girls each, we just changed it for them. We just brought it down a little bit. But they have to make 225 outbound calls a week each. And the revenue is directly proportional to the number of calls placed.
Okay. Well, that's interesting.
Very interesting. A lot of these girls they'll make 60 calls in a day
Right.
while they're handling intakes. They're also doing the intakes.
Right. Okay. See, I don't really think that we're doing outbound calls as much.
Okay, that's one of the most important statistics in your business.
Mm-hmm.
The number of calls placed.
Okay.
Yeah, I care about that statistic. Like, I just pulled up the calls in number, right? I show that graph, and I was looking at, I told you we had 900 calls in last week. I haven't looked at that graph in over a year. The
Oh,
number of calls coming in.
right.
I don't even give a shit about the number of calls coming in.
Right.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
probably
I think it's the outbound that's now I think it's making a lot more sense to me. So thank you. I think it's more his focus isn't really on the calls coming in or the emails coming in, because I mean, emails could be hundreds of emails coming in, but it's really the outbound follower.
yes, it is the communication the amount of communication that you put out,
Mm-hmm.
text, phone, email, postcards, digital ads, that's all communication, right? And so you're
Okay.
outputting communication. All of that is what is going to bring in, bring people in, make them call you and reach out to you. So yeah, I probably should pay attention a little bit more to the number of calls in, but yeah, I'm just looking at the calls out, honestly, because that's what I know drives it.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what he's saying. I think the key is in the follow-up afterwards.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He said
And
the
are
fortune's in
you?
the follow-up.
Yes, it is. Yep, I do have to agree with them that there's a lot of money sitting there in follow-up. There's zero chance we would be where we are now if we didn't follow up the way we do.
Mm-hmm.
And
could the receptionist follow up too? I mean, she could in her downtime, I suppose.
yeah,
Although you don't really want that.
no, we really want her on and off the phone as quick as possible
Mm-hmm.
to field the next call. So ideally, she's like on the phone for less than a minute
Mm-hmm.
with any given person. Um, yeah. Is your intake guy trying to collect money?
No. Well, just for consults, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
H- h-
Luckily we don't have a revenue problem at all because we charge 50% up front as a deposit and the balance is due before filing any applications and things like that. So
But getting that first 50%, that's where, because the second
um,
50%, it's like, okay, they're definitely going to pay that,
right.
right?
Well,
That's
yeah.
sometimes not.
Yeah. But yeah, most of the time you go, well, I'm not going to file anything until we've been paid. So yeah, that motivates them. But no, we won't start working on a case till we get the deposit.
Right, right. Uh,
And we generally don't have problems with that.
okay. So if you do a
There's very
consultation,
few, I mean, I'm not saying none, but there's very few cases that I can think of where a client signs a contract but then doesn't pay the deposit.
okay. What's your sequence on that? So you do a consultation with somebody. You say, okay, my legal fees 20, whatever your legal fee is, and then do you collect money right then, or do you send
No,
an engagement letter?
then I would send an engagement letter. The engagement letter has a link to payment. Then we get the payment, we get the signed retainer, and then we open the case.
Okay. How many
In the
people are you doing?
perfect world, yeah.
Yeah, totally. How many people do the consultation with you? You send the engagement letter, and then they don't sign up.
Well, I'm looking at my conversion rates, which is also something that I need to fix, but they're around 35%.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
I think it's actually higher because my CRM needs work too, because it also includes existing clients, which brings matters down in
Yeah.
terms of conversion rates, because those are existing clients. And I'm learning now that those should not even be entered into the CRM, calls with existing clients and things like that.
What do you mean they shouldn't be entered into the CRM?
Well, if they're already an existing client, they've been entered in the CRM when they signed up. So now if they're calling just to find out what's going on in their case, they shouldn't even be featured in the CRM because they're already there and they've already been counted. Now, if they're calling about a new matter, that's a different story.
When you say they're calling, when they shouldn't be counted for what?
As a new client or a new prospect.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's influencing my conversion rate.
Oh, so are they like creating new people for them in the CRM?
Yeah, they have.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's a new matter.
So
Even
do
if
you have like 5 different, so every call that comes in from them, it's creating a new matter?
Yeah, every call is logged and put into the CRM.
Yeah, but it creates a new matter then.
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta.
So my conversion rate, I'm hoping, is higher than 35% because.
Yeah, if it's doing that, then your conversion rate probably is for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So when when you do a consult, you send an engagement letter and they don't pay or they don't sign the letter, what's the process?
There is a sequence in Lawmatics that sends them out a sequence of emails. I can't even remember what it is now. It's been a while, but I'd say for about a month, maybe 2 months maximum, where they'll get emails. Hey, it's been X number of days since we sent you the retainer, until eventually it's sorry to let you leave.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody actually calls and follows up.
Okay. Yeah, I've never been sold on something by an email.
Right.
Right. So the viewpoint that I would have if I were you is that these people didn't sign up because they have some sort of objection.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's like,
Well, I would think that I'd got through all those objections because we've now sent them the contract. I've
no.
told them the price on the phone. I've told them everything. They're like, yeah, send me the contract.
Well, why didn't they sign then and pay?
Right, right. And our follow up with that is not very good. So I think that's, now thinking it out loud with you, which thank you, it really helps. I think that's why he's saying you need this receptionist so that this guy can be totally dedicated to making these outbound calls after contracts have been signed and so on.
Yeah. Yeah. And the intake person who's going to make these outbound calls to try and get somebody to start, that is very much a sales position.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like they need to be very good at communicating, very personable, and be willing to ask them to pay
Right.
right then and there. Like
Right.
that's what these girls do.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, what's the problem? Like, why haven't we started yet? And then, right? I mean, they don't say it like that, but
Right. Sure.
yeah,
Sure.
but that's essentially what they want to find out right away. Like, hey, why aren't you starting? Okay, whatever, blah 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 blah. Okay, good. Now we got that out of the air. Let's see what we need to do to handle it. What do we need to say to handle them, right? Because most of it's fear based. They're in fear of making the wrong decision, right? Paying
Right.
too much, going with the wrong attorney, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, paying too little. Maybe this attorney charges too little, and they're gonna screw everything up.
Right. Right. Well, good for us. I mean, we're definitely not the most expensive, but we certainly not the cheapest. So we definitely in the upper echelons of like in terms of costs and everything.
Why
But
aren't
I,
you the most? Why aren't you the most expensive?
I think well, we can't compete with like big law, but we're close to comparable to their rates. So, but I
Okay.
also don't want to price myself out of the market. So,
Um,
and immigration, it's I suppose in your industry as well, it's a small field, so there's kind of the market has established rates, and I'm definitely in the upper levels of those fees.
good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Because the way I view it is, people will buy on price. Right?
Right.
They'll buy the most expensive and they'll buy the cheapest. They don't usually like to buy in the middle.
Right.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So, um, people will say, well, XYZ, who's a competitor of mine, who I'll often come across, whatever, they'll go, well, they charge X. And I'm like, well, this is, you get what you pay for. And this is what we charge. So I'm comfortable with the rates that we charge and everything. And
Yeah.
yeah,
We have
as you say,
we learned a good handling for that objection, and it's simply they give it like, hey, they charge XYZ. We say, okay, if price were the same, who would you rather work with? And they're always like, well, I'd rather work with you. You say, okay, why would you like to work? Why? And they give you a reason. You say, okay, why else? They give you another reason. Okay, why else? Give you another reason. You keep asking why else until they run out, and then say, okay, you now see why we charge more.
Okay, that's clever. That's
Isn't
very
it?
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It kind of puts it in perspective a little bit. Hmm.
right, right. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people will what will differentiate me from my competitors is they, first of all, I've been through the process. Our follow up once you're retained is excellent. Like you can always get, I'll always get once you're a client, I always will get back to you within 24 hours, and they know that in the industry. So that's one of the reasons that people say, oh well, they can always get hold of you. Unfortunately, my portable Outlook device is my iPhone is my third child. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
that's a huge thing in for clients' viewpoint is a lot of attorneys don't answer the phone and they don't return calls timely. And
right,
when we first started, I read, 500 to 1,000 Google reviews. I want to see what all the 5 stars were, all the 1 stars, what people liked and disliked about attorneys. And there was 3 points, and that was one of them. They hated it when they couldn't get a hold of the attorney or whoever in the office and took long to get phone calls back, and they loved it. They loved all the attorneys that were fast. So it was like, all right, we we will be that. And yeah, we have a policy in place that they have to get, if they call us, we have to call them back within 24 hours, right?
right.
There's
Yeah,
no,
us too.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
no email. Like if someone calls us, we're not emailing them back, we're calling them back and emailing them. But yeah, 24 hours longest. And even I even feel like that's a bit long, but there's a lot of work on these guys' plate, so
right.
I have to
Good.
be a little lenient.
Yeah, there's also I've read somewhere that the biggest bar complaint is that attorneys don't get back to you quick enough. And
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
that's true.
yeah, so we pride ourselves on that. So that part, the back end is all working. It's just this new, they don't train you in law school in sales or running a business. So it's this front end that I just can't wrap my head around, which is getting clearer. Thank you very much. You've helped with that. So it's just wrapping my head around that.
Yeah. Have you thought of hiring an administrative person, like a business person?
Not right now. That will be next up. My next up is another attorney and then an operations manager. But I have
Yeah,
a paralegal now who is does work, but is also the practice manager.
that's good. Yeah, I think that's a good sequence for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe get another attorney and then an office manager, someone who can,
yeah,
yeah, handle the administrative side. I don't know what, I mean, Ashley, if she was just by herself, it just wouldn't have grown. The business just
right.
wouldn't have grown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
She was just,
We have grown, but obviously I'm the bottleneck in the system, and I know we can grow a lot more, but there's just limited capability with just one person. So,
totally, absolutely. There's only so many bricks some person can lay in a day.
right, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your goals for the firm?
So yeah, I want to expand. I don't want to get too big, but I'd say like maybe 15 of us in total is a nice size to be at. 10 to 15 people, and um, with that, obviously increased revenue comes with all of that, and increased
Yeah.
profit, which is always good.
Yeah. What are your revenue goals?
This year, I'm going to 2x it, and then we'll see from there.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the goal anyway. Is to 2x it. Yeah. And you
Yeah,
guys,
huh?
and you guys.
Yeah, we grew 74% in 2024, which is a lot.
Huge. They say
Yeah.
the average for a law firm is like 5% or something.
Yeah. I would honestly, if you grow 20% every year, you're doing amazing. You're
Right.
doing right. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's like great growth.
Yeah.
So yeah, we kind of shot out of a cannon in 24. We want to get up to uh, probably, I would like to get to 5 million in revenue this
Hmm.
year. That's
Okay.
that's really the goal.
And you
Hmm.
have how many people?
20,
Wow,
20
that's a
full-time
lot.
staff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a lot of mouths to feed as well.
The payroll is the worst.
Uh-huh.
We
No
pay our
doubt.
guys, we pay our staff really well too.
Right.
So, we know other attorneys in the area who pay peanuts, and
Well, you get what you pay for.
you do. You do. Right now our team is absolutely amazing. We love everyone on our team. That hasn't always been the case, right?
Depends on
Definitely.
the day.
No, not so much now. Not so much now, but before, we've hired a couple people when we were in need, like pretty quick need, hired them, and then we always knew that they weren't going to work out. You usually know right from the very beginning
No,
that
I know. Um, I don't follow my own gut feelings, but I know within 3 weeks.
yeah, yeah, you do know. And we have made the mistake too many times where we kept them around too long,
Right.
and it just causes upset and turmoil. The other staff are like, they start losing confidence in you as management because you're letting this person stick around.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, so we kind of have the policy that we hire them quickly, but fire them even faster.
Right.
We're not a charity. It
Right.
sucks that it's not going to work out for them, right? But we have to look at the business, first
Absolutely.
and foremost.
Yeah. And most of the time, I give way more chances than I should.
I
So
understand that.
feel comfortable when the time is right. That it's not like something that somebody's coming from left field. What happened here?
Yeah, yeah. It's it can be a fine line too, because we hear maybe you get somebody who comes in and starts working and maybe their personality clashes a little bit with other people, or
Mm.
maybe it clashes with one other person, and then you start hearing, oh, this new person's terrible and blah 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 blah, and here they just clash with them for whatever reason, and they're actually doing fine work.
Right.
um so yeah,
Are your people all in house, or they work remotely, or how does it work?
we have everyone in house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we won't do any remote stuff. Yeah, we don't. Occasionally, if someone has something going on, they'll work
Mhm.
remotely for a day, but yeah, we have everyone in house for sure.
Okay. Wow. Good.
Yeah, we just noticed communication goes a lot faster when
And how
people
long have you been in business?
are. Well, I worked for a pretty large healthcare provider in California for about 15 years,
Right.
and I kind of worked up through the ranks there, and then was in upper management. I was in quality control for a while. I did a lot of their. I sat on the financial advisory board, so we'd meet weekly, go over the finances, what we needed to do to be profitable, and then eventually got into managing sales and marketing. So I got a really good
Yeah,
taste.
background for all of this. Yeah.
Yeah, it really helped out. And then I left there. I got into real estate. Um, I opened a gym first, which
Oh,
I
cool.
opened a CrossFit gym for a couple years. It was fun, but not profitable at all. And then remember, I
I
got my real
tried that
estate.
CrossFit. Those burpees were killers. I just
Oh,
couldn't
they're the
do
worst. I hate them. I didn't go work out today because there was too many burpees in the workout.
it. Right.
um, but yeah, I was working at the gym, and we had a decent amount of members. And I said, why don't I get my real estate license, and I'll just network with the members, and if any of them wants to buy and sell a house, then I'll help them out. And literally the first week that I had my license, I got someone that wanted to buy a house, and on that it was a pretty decent sale, and I ended up making more on that one sale than I had the whole previous year at the gym. I said,
Yeah.
"Oh my God!" And where we were living, the median house price was like $950,000
Where were you again? I think you told me, but
in the Monterey Bay area in
okay.
California.
Yeah.
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 Uh-huh. So the house sales there were like, it's like, you know,
Yeah.
you're getting
California, the prices are ridiculous. They've gone up
great.
so much. It's just,
They're
$1
nuts.
million doesn't buy you anything at all.
Yeah, we had a house and then sold it to get a little close, to be more central in the county and be closer to our daughter's school. And we rented that house because we were like waiting to maybe buy something else. But it was a 3-bedroom, 1,200 square foot house on like a 4,000 square foot lot, right? It was super small. And we actually loved the house. It needed work, really cute neighborhood. Um, and when the owner asked if we wanted to buy it from him, and it was going to be like, I think it was going to be like 1.1 million or something like that. And
Crazy.
yeah, even with 20% down, are with the taxes and the mortgage payment and insurance, we were looking at about 9,000 a month.
Wow.
I
Wow.
know. And I was just like, for this house that probably needed a couple 100,000 in work.
Wow.
It's like,
Crazy.
Jesus. Yeah.
So when did you open this firm?
May of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah. Ashley, we moved here in July of 2019. Ashley started studying for the bar in, I guess, November of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And then she took the exam in March of 2020. She took the exam literally the day before COVID really shut down the world. We had a we had a she took the test in the morning, and we had an afternoon flight back to California to visit our friends, and there was 5 people on the plane.
Right.
There's 5 people on the plane, yeah. And we were supposed to be out there for 10 days, and we stayed for 4. And then I started worrying that the airlines were going to shut down. I started worrying, okay, well, if that happens, we would just drive back. But then I was like, well, wait a minute, maybe the hotels will be closed. Where we sleep? Am I sleeping on the side of the road?
Sleeping
Right?
in your car.
Yeah. I got
Yeah.
my 8-year-old daughter. It would be a night my wife she would kill me. So we turned around and came home real quick.
Okay, good. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Lucky got home just in time.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. But yeah, it was a wild time to start a business in an area where we didn't really know anybody. 2 months after,
And
you
how
know.
did you market yourself? Just ads and things like this, SEO, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we were doing we didn't do any paid ads. We got into some of the local Facebook groups and started
Mhm.
posting in there, or a lot of like business groups, because we were doing business law at the time.
Okay.
That was what her background was in. And so a lot of just posting in those groups, answering questions, giving free legal advice.
Yeah. Yeah, we do a lot of that too.
Yeah, give away as much information as you can, right? The
Mhm.
more information you can give away, the more business is going to come to you.
Right.
I wouldn't do it in a consult. I'd do it in social media form, and stuff like this podcast, whatever.
Right. Yeah. I
E-
belong to some immigration groups like on Facebook, and people ask questions and
yeah,
I'll answer them, give them links to videos, things like that. But yeah, in the consult, I don't want to be there giving away free advice.
hell no, hell no. Yeah. What about you ever start up a Facebook group yourself?
No, I just because I don't have to, I always think about doing one and I think it would be lucrative, but um, who's going to run it? If it's
Yeah,
not me, that's the problem. It's
yeah, yeah.
so
You'd have
many
to have.
number of hats I have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Marketing is definitely a hat. It's definitely a vital duty of a business.
Yeah, I have an outside marketing company that helps me and uh, does everything for me. But yeah, the Facebook group I would have to be very involved in. It's not something a marketing company can help with.
You do definitely need to be involved in it. And yeah, for Ashley, she's really just posting on TikTok and then replying to comments there. That's what she does. But the reply to comments is usually a new video. So we take that as an opportunity to produce more content. And it's like she spends about 5 minutes a day on it, creates a video in about 5 minutes, and that's all that she has the bandwidth for.
Right,
Uh,
right. That's
yeah,
great that she does it every day.
yeah,
Because, unlike men, women still need to look fairly decent. You got to put on makeup. Sometimes I'm in yoga clothes.
you know what? We've talked about that, and with social media these days, people want the authenticity more than they want the whole glam. And
Right,
like these videos that are like highly produced, and you pay a photographer and all this stuff, videographer, and get all the lighting right and all, and it takes you 3 hours to shoot a 5 minute clip. It's perfectly edited. People don't like that much.
hmm
They want to know like you. They want to know you. So I think you in yoga pants and a t-shirt or whatever, and maybe a little bit of sweat on your head is it might be good for you, because the whole part of the non-stuffy attorney brand came about from me reviewing those Google reviews and discovering like people want attorneys who are relatable and down to earth and just like them. And yeah, the more that they see you and that you're you, and you're not like this, all stuffy person who's, thinks they're better than you, and you're just a
right.
normal, look, you're a normal person just like everyone else, right? You've
Yeah,
your
absolutely.
family, and yeah, it's like you sweat, you go to the gym, you do all that shit. Same
Right,
stuff that they do.
right.
Um, yeah, that's what they like. So with Ashley, yeah, I mean, she does her makeup every morning. She's beautiful, and she's got all that stuff going for her, and she's super personable. But when she shoots a video, she's got this one little light on the stand, and then she doesn't do anything with the background. Just boom, just talks right into it, and we don't edit it at all. Yeah.
Okay, good. I need to do more of that. So yeah, it's one of my to-do lists is more social media because I do get a lot of clients from social media.
Yeah, and
Um,
you can get a lot more. If you're not posting a lot, you can get a lot more,
yeah.
for
So you
sure.
post every day?
5 days a week.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. She just does it at the end of the day. Our work hours go until 5:30. She usually films one at like 6. Most of the people are out of the office. If she's slow during the day, if anything like that, she'll sometimes film an extra one, but it's
Mm,
usually right at 6 o'clock. Literally takes her 5 minutes. She just talks about some legal topic or answers a question. Um, then post it, and then we have our social media girl pulls that video and puts it on all the other channels too.
right.
Yeah,
Okay. So you have a social media person in-house as well?
we do. Yeah, yeah. So that's her desk behind me. She usually starts around 1 or 2 o'clock. She works part-time for the firm, and then she's our personal assistant, pretty much the second. So she's double hatted there. Her
Mhm.
main job is taking the video, exporting the transcripts from it, putting it into AI, asking AI to generate a blog,
Mhm.
and then it generates a blog. We post the blog, um, and then she takes that TikTok video and she puts it on all, Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and then she takes the YouTube video, puts it in email, and sends it out to our database.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So
that
your
one
database gets email every day from you.
4 days a week. We send it out Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay.
Yep. We probably should send it on Wednesday too. Maybe we will. You mention it.
So that's good. So one little one little video, you get all this content.
Yep. Yep. Just from one 5-minute video.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and the blog that helps with SEO. It's like
Right.
we don't even have an SEO company anymore. I had people doing SEO for us, and then
Mm-hmm.
I just like one day I just realized they're mostly just writing blogs. And
Right.
not only that, but they're writing blogs that they're thinking of, and then we're having to go in and correct them because they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Right.
And now we can just take the transcripts from the attorney's mouth,
Mm-hmm.
and it generates it in blog format.
Right.
Super simple and easy, and yeah.
Yeah. So maybe if I've got this receptionist intake person there, between them, they can do this kind of stuff for me, unless I hire somebody part-time, maybe a VA or somebody who can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's super easy. Yeah, you're talking about it's not a long time. It doesn't take a lot of effort. Someone that knows tech,
Mm-hmm.
knows technology a bit, can go in there and do it pretty
Okay.
easily. Yeah, in a few hours a week. Yeah, not a lot.
Okay. And they can also schedule it ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so you could film videos Monday through Friday, they come in the next week, right? And they just pull those videos and just create it all
Right.
just like that.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
There you go.
Lots of food for thought. So thank you. I think my main question when I reached out to you was this receptionist thing, but now I understand it, so that the intake person can do all this outbound calls and follow up that we're just not really following up on, other than automated emails.
Yeah, no one's going to buy on based off an email.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I said earlier, I think, that personal touch, that personal communication, the emails that you send are probably very dry, or I don't want to say very dry, but they know that people know that they're auto created.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah. We
you,
try to make them as little as possible, but yeah, it's canned emails. It's
yeah,
no personal.
right. So it's very easy. So like our follow-up calls are when these girls follow up with somebody, they're calling and they're introducing themselves. Hey, this is Joe from Matt Claus Law Office. I work with Ashley. I'm just calling to check in to see if there's any update on getting your estate plan started.
Right.
That's the script. That's it, right? Our emails and our text messages are the same thing. It's just like any update on getting this started.
Right.
And but it is personal, right? I could get like this long email that's auto generated, and I'll just like put it to the trash. But if I get an email from someone, they're like, hey, what's the update on getting started on whatever, on your new remodel? It came from them, right?
Right.
It's like personal. I'm gonna give them the update. I'm
Right.
either starting or I have some objection or whatever. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And
Good.
then one
Lots
thing
of.
I forgot to mention earlier, the reason for this high volume of calls out is because a lot of times people don't answer their phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
And
know about you.
you leave voicemails. So.
You leave a voicemail, you don't say what the voicemails, you don't say why you're calling. You just say, hey, I need to talk to you. Give me a call. Otherwise, if you tell them why you're calling, then
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
They'll
they're,
ignore you.
yeah, they're not going to call you back. Uh, but most people, like I said, most people don't answer the phone, and people are busy just like you and I are.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're sitting here, you and I are here, and right now I have 3 missed calls since we've been talking.
Right.
Am I going to call them back? I
Probably
don't.
not. Yeah.
Probably not, right?
Yeah.
But if they call me tomorrow or the next day and they catch me when I'm not in a meeting or doing something, then maybe I'll answer it, right?
Right.
But maybe I won't. But maybe a week later I'll answer it. So we we consistently get people commenting on how much they appreciate the follow-ups.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I've seen in like people have asked me in the Facebook group before, like, don't people get like offended by how much you're calling them? And it's like, no, it's the opposite.
Right,
Yeah,
right. I think it shows that you care.
right.
As long as it's not done salesy and whatever, and it's more coming genuinely that you're concerned about their matter and their estate planning or whatever it is, then I think that's okay.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it has to be. If they're calling and they're all salesy and it's just like totally pushy and all that, they're not doing a good job.
Right, right, right. So, do you have like automations though in your CRM that reminds people like 7 days have gone by, you need to call X. 14 days have gone by.
Good
How do you
question.
track that?
Yeah, good question. And this is exactly why we ended up building out our own CRM,
Mhm.
is because I could not find that feature in any the legal platforms definitely didn't have it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then even the other ones, like the non-legal ones, just the regular CRMs, didn't really have what I wanted. So I wanted this call cadence that I shared with you earlier. I wanted that to be automatic. And when I met this guy Mike, who is a developer for Zoho, I told him what I wanted, and he said, "Yeah, we can create that." And that was the only reason why we went with Zoho. Um, it was the only reason. Now, it has been a godsend because we use a ton of other applications within the system, and it's just been awesome. But that's why I went with them initially. So when an intake girl comes in the morning, she has her call list, and so everyone who's supposed to be called that day is in her call list. And some of these people are on day one, or some are on day 15, some are on day, month 5, right? They're like all over the place, but she comes in the morning and she just goes through the call list and she can call out through the system. So she clicks on the button, it calls directly from, and it marks the call as complete. So it's all automatized, so they can really get through a lot of calls quickly. When you start getting on your phone and you're punching in numbers, it really slows you down. But yeah, even before we had this system, we were using it on spreadsheets, and I still demanded that amount of call volume. I didn't say, oh, you can do less because you got to dial on the phone.
Right.
Um, but but yeah, we have that. To answer your question, we have that all automatized, and it's amazing.
Okay. I wonder, well, I'll have to talk to my CRM people to see if they can do that.
Can almost guarantee not.
Thank you.
I searched pretty hard for it because I was really hoping to find a, a different solution. Yeah, but Zoho, yeah, it's been amazing. It was a long build out process, right? We spent from January until April building it out, spent a lot of money, and then we still have ongoing support with him that we pay him monthly.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. You
But
almost need to have a dedicated person who's going to build out your CRM.
yeah, you really do, especially something like this. Yeah. And we kind of need the ongoing support because random things come up. We want to add features, we want to take things away, and
Right.
yeah, it's a constant work in progress.
Right. Right.
He loves me because I paid him a lot of money.
Sure. Sure. But if he did a good job, he deserves it.
He does an amazing job. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. So, well, I hope I helped you.
Yes. Thank you very much. This was very informative. Very good. So thank you.
Good. Yeah, you're
Thank
welcome. Any holiday plans?
I've actually just come back from the Bahamas, which was very nice for 4 days. And my office is officially closed, but there's always stuff going on. So this is kind of an admin kind of vacation, still going through everything, but not going away. And you?
We went away for Thanksgiving. We went to Puerto Rico.
Oh,
We've kind
that's
of fallen, yeah, we've fallen in love with Puerto Rico. We've been there like 3 times over since May. Um, but we're gonna have a party at our house on
that's nice.
Christmas Day. Yeah, I think there's gonna be about 20 people, so it'll
Very
be busy. Yeah, it's gonna be busy.
good. And is
We
your
have
office closed over the holidays or?
no, no, we'll close. We'll do a half a day tomorrow, and then we'll be off on Christmas Day, and
Okay.
then we'll be off on New Year's Day. But
All right.
yeah, we don't. There's too many mouths to feed to close for a whole week.
Right, right. Yeah, I think my staff, they've been very busy. It's been a good year, so they are a little tired and burnt out. So I figured, okay, we need to just hold down the fort. And, my opposing counsel, for lack of a better term, is the government, and they're not in a rush to do anything. We just dodged a shutdown, so that's good.
Yeah, yeah. Do you you're off for 1 week or 2 weeks?
1 week.
1 week. Do you pay them for that week?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I figure you kind of have to, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I saw someone else posted that they close the week of July 4th and then the week of Christmas. I thought
That's a lot.
it's 2 weeks.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, we have 4th of July off, and just depending on where it falls, the day after or the day before.
Yeah.
But yeah, a week would be too much. So
Yeah, right?
I think by the end of the year, December is a good time because you've got to give off anyway for Christmas, and things definitely slow down, at least in immigration over that period. People are away. The rest of the world doesn't work like America. They shut down. I got an email from a CEO of a huge publicly traded company. Internet. I'm on vacation. Contact me after the 13th of February. Like, no email to where to call him, or if this is an emergency call. He's the CEO of the entire company. He's got like 3,000 staff.
Oh
It's
my
amazing.
goodness.
We just work too hard in America.
We do work hard. Yeah.
I'm out of the office for an emergency heart surgery, but please feel free to call me tomorrow afternoon. I apologize for the delay getting back to you.
That is the truth.
Yeah, he just didn't have no, contact my secretary, contact me, contact this number in an emergency. Just, I'll be back on the 13th of February. See you then.
Oh my God, so funny. It's so funny. Yeah. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
I just can't. I don't know how I could do it. I mean,
And people take, proper vacations. I mean, I know in South Africa in December, everything shuts down. Like short of you being badly abused or something and need a criminal restraining order, courts are closed, law offices are closed, everything shuts down. So there's really nothing to do. You're forced to shut down. Like, you
yeah.
can stay open, but your staff won't be doing anything really.
What does everyone pay their employer, their employees during that time?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Vacations, generally you're given 3 weeks off at least.
So does
Depending
that,
how long you've worked for the firm, but an average is 21 days.
so what about vacation time that's not during that time?
Well, they get, not including that time, at least 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh, so they're really getting like
5 or 6
5 to
weeks.
6
Yeah.
weeks. Jesus.
Yeah, and then there's countries like Germany where you get maternity leave for a year.
Oh my gosh. I know our COO, she's pregnant right now, and I'm kind of scared shitless what's going to happen when she has a baby. We were in the meeting today, and she's like, I think I'm going to take 2 weeks off, and then I'll work from home for 2 weeks, and then I'll
Right.
be back in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a slippery slope also with the law and what you can give and can't give and so on. So, yeah, we had our paralegal. She had her first child and she went off. I gave her 3 months, 6 weeks paid, 6 weeks unpaid. But I was so nervous she may not want to come back, but she did. That's good.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah.
Perfect. Anything else you wanted to discuss?
No, I think we've covered a lot. So thank you very much. This has been very
Yeah.
helpful.
Good. You're welcome.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Yeah. Have a good holiday. Yeah. Feel free to email me anytime. And if you have
Thank
anything that
you.
comes up, or yeah, what do I do in this? What should I do in this situation? I'll just let you know what we did. Yeah. But
Definitely, and I'll send the estate planning and things like that to you, and Medicaid, and tell me the other areas: estate planning, Medicaid.
probate, yeah, and transactional business law.
Okay, that's
Hmm.
good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I sometimes get calls with estate planning, just few and far between, but I get a lot of transactional law, and in immigration, I have a lot of transactional setting up businesses, things like
Hmm.
that. So that's good to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Good.
we wouldn't turn down your referrals.
Okay. Well, you'll get them. So thank you.
Very good. And we know who to call for immigration.
Okay. Great. Great. Well, we'll chat soon.
Very good. Have a great day.
Send me that spreadsheet.
I will. I'll send it to you right now. Okay.
Take care.
You
Happy
too. Bye.
holidays.